Hi everyone. Okay, I hope you have completed the worksheet on the last lectures. Today we are starting a new topic and that is bearings. Okay, so bearings are basically kind of, you can say a measuring, it's an angle, simple. Just like we calculate the angles in degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees with the help of a protractor. It's the same thing. The only difference is that the bearings were invented way, like you can say, approximately around 15th or 16th centuries when the people didn't have that much sophisticated instruments. So in that case, like in that era, they invented this way to calculate the angle between the objects. So bearings are a little different from how we calculate angles nowadays. There are some set of rules that you have to follow whenever you are calculating the bearings. So first is three rules. So first of all, I'm just writing what is bearing. So it's just a way to express the angle between the objects. Now, this is just the basic definition. If you want to calculate the bearing, there should be some rules. You have to follow three different rules. Three rules to calculate bearing. First rule is you always have to measure the bearings from the north line, from the north direction. I'm just writing it now, then I'll explain what exactly these are. So always measure bearings from the north line. B is your answer should be expressed into three significant figures. Suppose you calculated it as 27 degrees. So you are not supposed to write it as 27. It should be into three significant figures. So your answer should be 0 to 7. And even we read it like that. We don't write like 0.27. We read like 0 to 7 degrees. So second is always express the answer in three significant figures. So 27 degrees can be written as 0 to 7 degrees. And third is you always have to measure the angle or you have to draw the angle in clockwise direction from the north line. So you can say always draw or measure bearings in clockwise. Don't go anti-clockwise, always in clockwise direction. So first thing is you have to draw a north line. The first line says, I'm just clearing these points as of now. So the first point is always measure bearing from the north line. So you have to draw a north. If you're drawing from here, so you have to draw a north line at that point. Suppose if it's A. So here. Now you have to draw in clockwise direction. So you have to move it like this. Suppose you want to calculate the direction between this and this line. So you have to move clockwise in order to measure the direction. Or you can say if you are measuring the angle between this one, A and B. So what you have to do is you have to draw a north line and then you have to move clockwise till you reach here. You can't just measure from in general way, like how we calculate nowadays. We can just directly calculate angle between these two, but it's a bearing and even the terminologies are a little bit different from it, from our usual. So you have to draw a north line first and from this line you have to move clockwise to get your answer. Okay, in the next part definitely I'll explain you exactly how you can do that, but as of now just quickly either take the screenshot or write this down. Okay, these three rules that are important. Okay, I hope you have all taken the screenshot of this. Now let me understand what exactly the terminologies mean and how we can calculate it. Suppose we have this line, just a simple line like this, A and B. And question is, find the bearing of B from A. See, you can clearly see, generally we don't use this thing, find the angle of B from A, right? We generally say angle between this or angle BAC or CAC. But in bearing, we specifically mentioned find the bearing of B from A. See, this is important. This line is important. All of you pay attention to this. So why this line is important? Because it can change your answer. If they're asking B from A that means from, whatever be the letter written after from, after this word from where you have to measure, you have to draw the north line at that point. They are asking B from A, that means you are supposed to draw a north line at A. So from A, it means draw a north line at A. That's important thing. This should be your first step. Then what we'll do? We'll draw a north line at A. So let me draw this, a north line. Second thing is, because they're asking, you have to calculate or find the bearing of B from A. So from A, start moving in clockwise direction. If you go back and see the 3 points, I have written that you always have to measure in clockwise direction. So what will you do? Once you have drawn a north line at that particular point, now start moving in clockwise direction till you reach to B. Right? This is the line of B, clearly. So move clockwise until you reach to that line. The angle that you have moved so far will give you, suppose this is 100 degrees, so the angle that you have moved so far will give you the bearing. So what you have to do now, start moving in clockwise direction from the north line, and C is calculate or from the north line till you reach to the desired or the destination. If it says B, so till you reach to B. So now start moving in clockwise direction from north line till you reach to the specified line. So this angle will give you the final answer. So see, angle between these two lines will be your final answer. Let me know, is it clear or not? Yes, and you have to use this angle using protector, obviously. Otherwise, you can't calculate. Okay, take the screenshot, then we'll do some questions. Okay, let me do one question. Is it clear to all of you? Just write yes or no. Just be quick so that I can move forward. There is a question given and it says that this will be a second type, right? First, we have to know like how you can do. The second thing is drawing the bearing if the question is already there. Suppose it says 2 points A and B are 5 kilometers apart, and bearing of B from A is 250 degrees. They have specifically mentioned that using the scale 1 centimeter to 1 kilometer. This is about the construction. Previously, what we were doing, we were just calculating or measuring the angle. This is what the construction. Okay, this is the construction part. So you can find the questions on constructions as well. So using the scale 1 centimeter to 1 kilometer, construct a diagram. Construct a diagram showing the relative positions of points A and B. See, so what you have to do is, the first thing is they have mentioned it that there are 2 points A and B and they are 5 kilometers apart. The thing is that you can't just draw 5 kilometers in your paper. So you have to take some scaling. If they have mentioned in the question, it's well and good. And if it's not mentioned, then you have to take, it will be totally on you. But while drawing, you have to mention that what scaling you have taken. Here they have already mentioned, so you even though write that down, but if there is nothing mentioned there, you have to write this down that what scaling you have taken. 1 centimeter to 1 kilometers means that 5 kilometer will be 5 centimeter in your copy. So what you have to do, you have to draw 5 centimeters between A and B. But you have this thing as well in your question, that bearing of B from A is 250 degrees. So from A, so what you have to do is, there is a point A. Just draw a point as of now. Don't draw a line because you don't know where exactly the B is. So what you have to do is, there is a point A because it says from A, right? Remember. So here we have to draw the line. So draw the point A and draw a north line. Once you have the north line, because bearing of B from A is 250 degrees. If it's 250 degrees, that means what you have to do? From here, start moving clockwise until you draw a 250 degrees. Now, the important thing is how you can draw 250 degrees. You know you have protector and you can measure up to 180 degrees in protector. So first thing is, with the help of a protector, draw 180 degrees. So definitely this will be a 180 degrees. So start moving and you have drawn 180 degrees. How many degrees are more to draw? 250 minus 180? Yes, hello. 250 degrees minus 180, that means 70 degrees. Okay. So from here, what you have to do, you have to make 70 degrees from now. You have already drawn 180 degrees. Now you have to go 70 degrees more. So this will be 70 degrees more. This will be your 250 degrees. This whole angle is going to be your 250 degrees. So draw this. This whole angle will give you 250 degrees. So this is the construction. So you can write that this point is A and this point is B. Let me know, is this construction clear? But also this distance should be 5 centimeters on paper. Okay, the distance should be 5 centimeters in your paper. You can't just randomly take any length. They have mentioned 5 kilometers, plus they have mentioned the scaling as well. So after drawing this whole angle, you have to draw this length as well. Let me know. Is this clear? Yes or no? Write down in chat section. Now take the screenshot of this and along with write the construction. You can see the steps. Okay, let me write down the construction steps. The first is draw north line. at the point. Second is using protractor, draw the angle. And third is now complete the line using scale. Okay, just take the screenshot of this one. Be quick with it. Okay, this was the second part. First was the measuring bearing. Second is constructing bearing. And third one is finding the bearing. Okay, if you have one or two angle, and then they can also give you to calculate the bearing of others. Say for this one. What is the third one? Finding bearing. Suppose that's a diagram given. You always have to write N here. Whenever you draw the bearing, you are constructing bearing, you have to draw N. It shows that you have drawn a line pointing towards the north. This is A and B, and this is given as this is 94 degrees. Suppose. The question says the diagram below shows are the bearing of B from A. Clearly, this is bearing of B from A, but you have to calculate, find the bearings of A from B now. Of A from B. So we already have the bearing of B from A. We have to calculate bearing of A from B. From B, that means you have to draw the line B, north line at B. Fortunately, that is already there in your diagram. The second is now you have to move clockwise from this line, right? If you go back and see the points I have written, draw a north line and then move clockwise from it. So now you have to move clockwise from it until you reach to your desired position. Desired position is A. So start moving clockwise until you reaches to A. Definitely this is your A. This whole angle, this angle will give you your answer. So this angle will be either you can measure if it's mentioned that diagram is accurate, so you have to measure. And if it's mentioned that diagram is not accurate, then you have to do some analytical things, right? If paper says drawn accurately, that means use protector directly. And if in the question, if with the diagram they have written not drawn accurately, then don't measure, don't use the protector, use analytical thing, or you can say the algebra part, whatever the geometrical part, you know about the properties of the lines or something. So you don't have to measure it, you have to solve it. Okay, so do analytics or simple don't measure. So to calculate this, what I can do, I can just extend this line. If I extend this line like this, I clearly know one thing that these two lines, this north line and this north line, because they both are pointing towards north, that means they are what? Parallel lines, right? And we know one property that if they both are parallel, because of the corresponding angle, this angle is also going to be 94 degrees. If this angle is definitely going to be 94 degrees, and then what you know that you have to measure this angle till you reach to here, right? This angle is clearly 180 degree. We need not to measure it. We know that well. If we are talking about the semicircle of the half angle, this is what, 180 degrees. So this we know is 94 degrees. This we know is 180 degrees. And we have to calculate this whole blue angle. So this whole angle is going to be 94 plus 180 degrees. That means 274 degrees. So the bearing of A from B is 274 degrees. Let me know. Is it clear? Just write down yes or no. Okay, now just be quick. Take the screenshot of this one. Then we'll move forward. Okay, see, I'm just repeating it once again. The first thing is because here the question says not drawn accurately, so you have to use some geometrical approach, geometrical property. And what I did after getting to know what angle am I supposed to calculate, which was this angle, this whole angle, I know one thing that this part is definitely 180 degrees because it's a half of 360. We know that one circle is 360 degrees, so half of it always gives you 180 degrees. So we know this part is 180 degree. Only the remaining is this part. How can we calculate this part? It's simple. The north line and north line are parallel to each other. So I can say line AN is parallel to line BN. And if they both are parallel, so we know that angle A is equals to angle B, which is equals to 94 degrees because of corresponding angles. At least you should know what all these angles are: alternate angles, interior angles, exterior angles, alternate interior angles, corresponding angles. These are the angles, these are the properties of parallel lines and a transversal. So this is going to be 94 degrees. So we want to calculate this whole angle. So this will be 94 plus 180 will give you 274 degrees. Now take the screenshot of this one so that we can move forward. Okay. Okay, now let me do some questions. Try this question. Write down your answer in chat section. It says diagram not drawn accurately. That means you have to do some geometrical approach. Okay, see. So far I have received 8 answers and all of you are saying 65 degrees. Okay, now see. It says that you have to calculate the bearing of B from A. That's important, right? B from A, that means at A you have to draw a 90 degrees. So definitely you have drawn, that is already there in the question. You need not to draw it. Now you have to move clockwise until you reach to B, this angle. They are not asking you to calculate this angle, right? If this angle, definitely that's going to be 295 minus 360 minus 295, which is 65 degrees. But this angle is whole completely different. You're not supposed to calculate this angle. See, this is 65 degrees, and this is the reason in the last question I said you should know the basic properties of the parallel lines. These two are known as interior angles. If these two are interior angles, they always add up to 180 degrees. Let's say this is x. So x plus 65 degrees always equals to 180 degrees. These are interior angles of two parallel lines. And they add up to 180 degrees always. So from here x is going to be 180 degree minus 65, which will give you 115 degrees. So this is 115. Is it clear to everyone? And yes, you gave the correct answer. Okay, Tom's, you also gave me the same answer. Very good. So just quickly note this down, and if you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, let me upload the next question. Try to solve that. Okay, now let me see, because some of you are saying 300 and some of you are saying 240. So let me see who is exactly the correct in this case. See, it says a diagram of bearing is shown here. Given that the bearing of B from A is 60 degree. B from A, that means this is given as 60 degrees. Now calculate the bearing of A from B, which is important. What you're calculating, this sentence, this three words, these three words are important. Bearing of A from B. from B, from where you're supposed to calculate the angle, draw a north line at that point. That means you have to draw a north line at B, which is already there in this question. Now you have to move clockwise till you reach to A. That's why they have mentioned. So you have to measure A from B. That means from B, you have to start calculating till you reach to A. So from B, start moving till you reach to this A, right? If I extend this, definitely this lower part will give me 180 degrees. You can just simply think that if this is 60 degrees, then this will also be your 60 degrees. I have just explained in last question that these two are corresponding angles. If these two are corresponding angles, these are parallel lines. AN is parallel to BN. So angle A is equals to angle B is equals to 60 degrees because of corresponding sides or corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. Now what we have to calculate? We have to calculate bearing of A from B. That means from B move till you reach to A. Right? This is already 180 as I told you because it's a semicircle, right? Half. So if this is already 180 degrees, so 180 and 60 degrees, which will give you 240 degrees. So the whole angle is going to be 240 degrees. This is your final answer. We did that in last question. It was exactly the same. Down, and if you have any doubt, ask me. Okay. See this question. All of you try to draw this. Okay. With the help, take protector. You need it. Okay. And draw this. Then I'll explain you that how you can draw it and you can match it. Okay, now let me see how we can construct this. It says starting at point A, Priya makes a journey as follows. 8 kilometers on a bearing of 135 degrees to B. 4 kilometers on bearing of 180 degrees to C. And 6 kilometers on bearing of 315 degrees to D. Use the space below to draw a suitable diagram to represent her journey. See, what's important here is, yes, definitely you have to use a protector for this because you can't calculate, you can't show 135 degrees or 180 or 315 specifically or accurately without it. So it says starting at point A, that means you have to draw a point A, which is already there, but I'm drawing it here. Freya makes a journey as follows: 8 kilometers on bearing of 135 degrees to B. That means from A to B, right? That's already mentioned that you have to start from A. So this means that you have to draw a line pointing towards the north at A. From here, move clockwise and draw 135 degrees. It will be maybe something like that. This is going to be 135 degrees. Okay, this is 8 kilometers, which is given 1 centimeters equals 1 kilometer. That means on paper, you have to draw 8 centimeters. So once you have the direction, now draw 8 centimeters. So suppose this is 8 centimeters. And then I'll name this as point B. Okay, I'm just again repeating, it's very important. You will find, see, you can get 3 marks easily if you will understand this. It's not that difficult. So first thing is what? It says starting at point A, that means from A, draw a line that is pointing towards the north. And from there, you have to start moving clockwise until you reach to B. This should be 135 degrees. Once you reach to B, it should be 8 centimeters in distance, in length, and name B here. Now 4 kilometer on bearing of 180 degrees to C. That means from B to C is 180 degrees. So from B, that means draw a line pointing towards north at B. Only the thing you have to understand, A from B, B from A, that's all about the bearings. So it says 4 kilometer on a bearing of 180 degrees to C. That means from B to C is 180 degrees. How can you draw? Once draw a line pointing towards north at B, and from here draw 180 degrees. You have drawn 180 degrees. This is 4 kilometers. That means 4 centimeters. If it's 4 centimeters, you have to draw a line of 4 centimeters here. This is 4 centimeter, which is 4 kilometers, and name C. Then it says 6 kilometer, which is, that means 6 centimeters on paper, on bearing of 315 degrees to D. That means from C to D. From C, that means again at C you have to draw a line pointing towards the north. That means this one, pointing towards the north. And from here you have to calculate 315 degrees. I told you how can you calculate 315? By splitting into 180. After 180, you can complete the angle. This whole angle is going to be, suppose till here it's 315 degrees. And this length should be 6 centimeters, which means you have to draw a length of 6 centimeters, which will be somewhere here, and then name it D. So this is 135 degrees, which is mentioned here, 180 degrees, which is mentioned here, and this is 315 degrees. This is your complete diagram. Let me know, is there any doubt or not? Okay, now we have drawn this one. Continuing this, they have given one question, which is just one marker. It says Freya wants to return to A. What is the bearing of A from D? From D, that means you have to draw an angle pointing towards north at D, right? As I told you, the bearing is all about A from B, B from C, understanding this part. If you will be able to understand it, it's very easy to do any question and bearing. So it says Freya wants to return to A. What is the bearing of A from D? Definitely this one you have to calculate using protector, because you have done it like drawing everything with the protector. But what you can do is draw a line at D pointing towards the north. And then it says what is the bearing of A from D. So what is A? So first thing is simply you can join these two together. Okay, that should be the simplest one. If you can join this together, it will help you. Now at D, draw a line pointing towards the north. So I have drawn a line pointing towards the north. From here, start moving and move until you reach this point. That is the bearing of B from, A from D. So whatever this angle that you will calculate will give you the bearing. And also that you have to remember that it should be in 3 significant figures. The thing that I've drawn is definitely not accurate, okay, because I haven't taken the scalings. But this is how you can calculate it. Question, let me know, is this clear or not? Just write yes or no in chat section. Okay, now let me upload another question. Okay, solve this question. Write down your answer for this question in chat section. It says calculate the bearing of B to A. So from B, this is important, right? So calculate bearing from B. So at B, you have to draw a line pointing towards north, and then you have to start moving till you reach to this one, this part. It's gonna be, this hole is 180 degrees, and these two are corresponding angles. So this will give you 33 degrees. So this is going to be 180 plus 33 degrees, which is 230 degrees. This will be your final answer for it. Okay, it's very simple, right? Now, I want you all to give me the correct answer for this one. Bearing from B to A. Okay, let me see. It says calculate the bearing from B to A. From B, that means we have to start from B till we reach to A. That means this whole angle is the bearing from B to A, right? To calculate this, first we can calculate this one. We know this whole add up to 180 degrees. That means only this part is going to be 180 minus 112, which will be 168 degrees. Sorry, 68 degrees. Now we know if I extend this, I know the corresponding angles. If this is 68 degrees, that means this is also going to be 68 degrees. Two lines are parallel. This is a transversal. So this is also going to be 68 degrees. So this whole angle is, this is 180 degrees. So 180 plus 68 degrees will give you 248 degrees. So you can see we keep on repeating the same process. We are just using the parallel line properties. Either we are using corresponding angles or we using interior angles, but these two angles are basically the properties of parallel lines we are using. This one, or in the construction you have seen previously, it's nothing, just the scaling, and you should know how to calculate the bearing or how to measure the bearing. That's it. So that's all type of question you will see. If you will understand this, even the harder part or some complex question, you will be able to do it. They only ask you to do these things. That's all. Okay. So that's it for bearing. By tomorrow on WhatsApp group, I'll send the worksheet, and then the day after it, I'll send the answers. Okay. So those who are not in WhatsApp group, you can join so that you can access that worksheets and solutions. Okay, then that's it for today. Thank you. Bye and take care.